Unless that's a real issue.
No, I don't like to go back.
Everyone, so thank you very much for the day. Tony's going to do a presentation. To be honest, I'll be both honest with Tony, we made Tony do the session after afternoon break to make sure a lot of people didn't go to Scotland for this last session on Friday. People sort of disappear off. So because a lot of people like to hear and see Tony and see what he's going to talk about, we put one now so that we make sure you stay for this session. So it was a wee bit of a cunning plan. Once Tony's done his session, Scott Charity Arrogance is going to do a short session with a draw, raffle prize, and I know people will be that down for next Friday afternoon and all those kind of things. But thank you all for coming. Really appreciate the effort you've made to get here today. Fingers crossed somebody in the room wins the prize. And after all, we'll be less than an hour we're doing the draw.
Less than an hour?
Yeah.
You want it quick then, Connor? Good afternoon! Right, can you hear me in the back? I would prefer my normal speaking voice. It's my lovely big voice here now, isn't it? I feel like Tom Jones. Am I better like that? Take a pic. Good. Those who don't know me, I'm Tony. I do work for Celox directly, so I have got a little bit of interest in this one. For those who don't, we also do a hemorrhage control course. When we come out and deliver that, if they've got to talk to me afterwards, I'll be happy to talk to them. So we're going to talk about haemostatic gauze, the past, the present, and the future. Those who don't know me, this is me. I was a role marine originally. 29 years now, frontline experience as a paramedic. I qualified in 1990. It's took me some really interesting places. I've done, other than the Yorkshire Ambulance Service, I've done Iraq for 3 years in close protection, Afghanistan, the North Sea, North Africa, South Africa, Norway, Northern Ireland, to name a few. About 6 years ago, I went to a child that had been murdered. And this child had stab wounds, 17 of them. Throat had been cut open, testes cut out. Very, very grim. I was the only vehicle available. Child died, unfortunately. And after 4 years of counselling, I then discovered why I'm passionate about bleeding. So everything I do say here is based on fact, evidence, JR Calc, faculty of hospital care, etc., etc. But we're going to talk about the history. So let's have a look at the history. Here we go. Mummification. It's good, that, isn't it? Looks like my mother-in-law. It was her birthday yesterday. I hate to say this. My ex-mother-in-law. Right. Actually, the Egyptians discovered all about arteries and veins. When they go through the mummification process, they cut the bodies open to try and protect them, and they discovered that the body had this flow of blood going through it. And they discovered all about arteries and veins. So actually, hemostasis goes all the way back to Egyptian times. And they used products to try and stem the blood and soak up the blood all the way back then. It's a long, long time ago. What we're doing now, current ERC, these are the trauma resource guidelines. Traumatic cardiac arrest there. You look at cardiac arrest, peri-arrest situations, consider non-traumatic category, blah, 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 all the way through this. But ultimately it comes down to bleeding and dealing with bleeding. Hence the reason that everybody's so up on bleeding right now. Everybody's dead keen about stopping bleeding. I know Andrew's just talked about knife crimes to you and how massive they are in the UK. We're getting the same problem. And the police are actually expecting that to increase by 30% this year. 30%, think about that. So where do we go to then? Who remembers this original quick clock? Anybody old enough? 2002, or 2002, 2003, I went out to Iraq. Prior to that, all we had were first field dressings. Fabulous. Somebody's bleeding, stick a first field dressing into it, and let them bleed to death. So the Americans started throwing quick clot at us, literally. Here, have a go at this. It's fabulous stuff. We had nothing else. It's made out of a product called zeolite, which is a volcanic rock. Zeolite absorbs fluid very, very rapidly. And it created this exothermic reaction, which is actually get temperatures up to 120 degrees. So it would cauterize inside the wound. But in fact, it worked exceptionally well, because it also increased factor 12 in the clotting mechanism and sped up the whole clotting process and stopped people bleeding to death. And we started to save lives. Now, my analogy is the mobile phone. Anybody recognise that one? One of the original Samsungs from 2002. Who had one of them? Look at the arms going up. That's brilliant, isn't it? So we moved on from Quick Lock first generation and the zeolite, and we recognised the burns that it caused and the nightmare it caused for anaesthetists and surgeons to get in there and try and remove the stuff. And we moved to the next generation of Quick Lock. This was combat gauze. They had to suss out how to stop this burning. So they impregnated the gauze with kaolin. Those that know, kaolin's a natural clay. It's sterile natural clay. So kaolin works exactly the same way. It's designed to soak fluid away from the blood and increase the natural clotting factors. Speeds up factor 12. Let me recognise this one of the first Sony Walkman phones around about that era. I had one of them with stupid headphones. Look at this. I had about 6 records that played over and over again on it, because I didn't know how to download MP3s. We moved on, Celox granules. The first generation of the new stuff, 2005, the Motorola Razor. Oh, fabulous bit of kit that was. Actually, if you look at the reviews, it was absolutely rubbish. My father had one of them up until the point that he died. He had it for years. But Celox granules became the Haemostatic Gauze. 2 scientists walking along a beach, and they've got this little boy pulling the legs of the crab. And they go, don't do that, kid, man, it's terribly rude. It's dreadful. It's terribly cruel as well. So they picked up the crab, took it home back to the lab, and they realised that this crab didn't bleed. So they investigated a little bit further and they discovered chitin. And chitin is the product that makes the chitosan in Celox granules. It's designed to swell gel and create a pseudo-clot. There you go. There's little prawns swimming along. Unbeknownst to them, we're going to capture them. Yeah, we're going to put them in a vat of acid. We're going to remove all the body from it and just left with the exoskeleton. It's then, that's the exoskeleton that makes the chitin up there. We use a chemical process again that activates the chitosan. Anybody shopping in Holland and Barrett's? Good, you can buy chitosan in Holland and Barrett's as a dietary aid. Didn't know that, did you? Because it swells and gels inside your stomach and bums you up for days. This is how it works. It absorbs fluid. It swells gel, creates that pseudo-clot inside the wound. Great. So then, how do you get that into really small, stab-type wounds? We need an applicator, a syringe-type device that's pre-filled, that's designed to go into them little holes, and you can fill up that wound with the whole product. You can deal with gunshot wounds then. The National Crime Agency in the UK carry this. Police forces, Thames Valley, Hampshire, Yorkshire, they're carrying this bit of kit. Funnily enough, for all those stab wounds we're getting. Who recognises that? First generation iPhone. Oh, I had one of them as well. Never got it to work, I sent it back after 2 weeks. So they moved on to the Gauze 2007. And what they did is they wanted to make the granules a lot faster, make them operate a lot faster. So they took a non-woven gauze, which starts out about a year thick in the factory, and it's crushed all the way down so it becomes really, really thin. Then they laminate the surface, and they laminate it with the chitosan. So the non-woven gauze will soak up blood, then the chitosan swells and gels and acts like that plug effect. So this works a lot faster. This is now 3 minutes. So you've come from something that works in 5 minutes to 3 minutes. Excellent. iPhone 2. So we pack it inside the wound. Now then, there's a lot of stuff going about. I'm not using haemostats. And you place the haemostat on top. No, we don't. They're designed to pack right into the point of bleeding. So one thing you take away about haemostats today is pack it over the point of bleeding. And pack in as much as you can possibly get. Once you get to the surface, cover and compress it for 3 minutes. Exactly as it shows on the diagrams. And they do loads of tests. We have a complete lab, we've got our own lab down there, and they test it against various items of blood, and they test it for soak through and all this wonderful stuff. Dead complicated stuff, I leave it to the scientists. But if anybody's interested, there's tons and tons of research out there, I'll happily send it. So they moved on in 2010, they created Celox Rapid. Celox Rapid is the only one in the world that works in 60 seconds. It's exactly the same non-woven gauze, exactly the same chitosan. There's magic fairy dust on the surface that makes it work in 60 seconds. That's it. All I'm allowed to tell you. Who remembers that? The Galaxy S. the S3 and the iPhone 6. You can't buy them other two products, rapid ribbon. That's a 2-inch ribbon. Only Americans can have that. Works exactly the same. Pack it in very quickly, compress, cover, and 60 seconds later you stop the bleeding. Anybody that's done my course has probably seen the video, haven't you, Scott? Yeah, is it a good video? Proofing, isn't it? And the tests are exactly the same. Use blood products, pass it through, see to get it to soak up. So all recognise haemostats and where haemostats are going. And there's several others on the market. You've got Kytosam. Kytosam, for instance, was actually a result of Celox. It used to be marketed by Celox. So where we're looking to now, big subject in the future, certainly for the military, is prolonged field care. 29 years ago we used to do this. Somebody's come up with a new name for it, that's all it is. And those of us who've been around a long time, how many nurses have we got out here? Nurses, great. Have you heard about the new associate nurse position?
Yes.
Yes, good. It's an ENS qualification. Yes, it's the same 2-year ENS course that used to exist. And we've come around full circle. So we now come full circle to prolonged field care. We're now looking at products you can stuff in there, you can leave them in, and they're going to provide antimicrobial, antibacterial properties. So up to 7 days in the field, you can just leave them in. We're looking at more coagulopathies. So we're looking at reasons that patients don't actually clot in the first place. These are trauma-induced coagulopathies, down to hemorrhage and paramedics giving them too much fluid. We're moving on to the future. How about a Kytosam technology in a burns dressing? Who'd like to see this one? It weighs about the same as a packet of Celox, and that'll cover 9% body surface area. You sell it in the States already, and they love it. This one's antimicrobial because it's got silver impregnated into it. This is the future. This is where we're going with things now. We're actually looking at a rapid product now that's instant. They don't want to call it Celox Pack and Go. This thing gels. So the Silver Pro gel actually just gels straight on contact. So you've got the blood and you've got the fluid seeping out of the body. You put it on top of it, and it soaks up straight away and creates this gel on top, then protects it. And you've got an antimicrobial and antibacterial protection over the top. And you can put water over it and use it as a cooling device as well. Absolutely brilliant. There's some pre-treatment, post-treatment. So pre-treatment, you've got a burn on there. I think that's sunburn, to be honest, on one of our ginger girls' arms. Put the Kytosam dressing on the top, and you can see the differences. This is science stuff. And some more comparison charts for you. Going against other dressings, the water gel, it's very comparative to that. Have you got any questions on haemostats? Have you got any questions on bleeding control they want to ask me? Because that's what I'm expert at.
Why have your zigzags only been available in the States? The zigzag gauze is most of the...
Oh, Z-fold gauze. Okay, so we've got two rolls of gauze. There's a gauze roll, the Celox gauze roll, there's 10 foot of that. Military have had that since 2006.
Yes.
Okay, right, what they discovered was when you take a roll out, everybody instantly goes bandage. And they wrap it round and round the wounds. Okay, so a couple of years later, they decided that if you make a Z-fold, yeah, the medical profession looks at Z-fold and they go, oh, that's for stuffing in things. So we now do, and we have had Z-fold since about 2010. And there are two fair maidens in a factory in Bolton that hand fold it. It's a bespoke product, seriously. They have a room, you know, it's a tenth the size of this. Little pot up there, and it's like that all day. You alright, Gladys? Bingo Friday, is it? Seriously, I asked them, I did a session for them once, a full headcon session, to tell them, you know, what we do, what do they do with it, you know, how does it work? And I said, the girls are famous, because every single headcon session, their job gets mentioned. And they love it, yes. So it's all, you can buy just the Z-fold now. And actually trying to phase out the gauze roll and get rid of it completely.
If you tear part of the gauze, it's not such a deep wound, so I'll try and speak up. Not such a deep wound, so you put the gauze in until then you tear it off. Is the rest of it effectively waste because it will absorb water?
Yes. Yeah, so it's gone. It's gone. The back is gone.
It's not a magic voice.
Hello. Oh. Oh. Oh, no. 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 You did it. Hello? 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 Oh. Right, we've got an issue. Did you not hear me? Good, my lovely, quiet talking voice. He asked about the gauze. When you packed it into a wound, you can actually tear it off. So what we recommend when you're packing is pack it right over that point of bleeding, pack it nice and firmly, and proud of the wound. You want to come above the surface of the wound. When you get above the surface of the wound, tear off any unused gauze, cover it, compress. Remember, if you're using gauze, other than rapid, 3 minutes. Yeah? All the stuff that you've just torn off can be ditched. It will soak up atmospheric moisture. And besides, it's not sterile anymore. Unfortunately, there are a few private providers out there that use 2 or 3 pieces at a time, put it back in the packet, fit a microcore over the top and use it for the next patient. It's very naughty. So yeah, once you've taken it out, you've used as much as you need to throw it away. Did everybody hear that at the back? Didn't you hear it? I know. Yeah, liar. Any more?
What about people who are allergic to the shellfish?
Good, cheers George. Thank you. You've done my course at least once, you know the answer already. Right. Yes. Okay. The chemical process that you've used, it's called deacetylation. So the prawns are taken, remove the prawn body, stick it into your prawn biryani. Okay, all you've got is pure exoskeleton. The chemical process removes the proteins. You've no proteins, you've no allergens. There's never been an allergic reaction to chitosan. I can say that quite categorically. However, you are likely to bleed to death in 1.5 minutes. Femoral artery, this one that runs down your leg, 1.5 litres of blood goes down that every minute. In 1 minute 30 seconds, you'll be dead. People that save lives are the people that everybody here treats. You're the people that train them how to do it. Seriously. Paramedics don't save lives. Genuine first aid, genuine life saving is from the people that everybody here trains. Very important job. Very important job. Does that answer your question, George?
Yes, thank you.
Cheers, kids. Any more? Fabulous. I hope I've woke you up this afternoon. Thank you. All right,